Hello everyone, I am Dr. Rogers, and this is a walkthrough of my Canvas class as well as syllabus for Physics 241 University Physics. This is the hybrid class that meets on Fridays. If you're a returning LCC student, then Canvas is totally new. I do ask you to kind of bear with myself as well as all the other instructors as we muddle our way through Canvas. The more you do anything, the better you get at it, whether it be physics, problem solving, or Canvas. So with that said, this is what my class should look like after you click on the little icon. We have some navigation tabs over here. You can always come back to the home screen right here. And I have some stuff down here. You can kind of see when stuff is due right over here. And I have some links and stuff that I'm going to talk about right here. But let's knock out the easy stuff first. First of all, if you click on the About Your Instructor tab, and kind of shows you me with my same little background right here. Best way to get in touch with me, probably shoot me an email. This is the landline that's in my office. Please don't try to text that. And you're also more than welcome to swing by my office, which is Science and Health Professions Building, room 216. Let's knock out some of the easier stuff first. I'll click on the Course Materials tab. This is more or less just the syllabus, or just the textbook, which is already listed in the syllabus. It's University Physics with Modern Physics, the 13th edition by Young and Friedman. Here's some ISBNs. Go ahead and put those guys into Amazon, and it'll bring up the cheapest option. You do not need the version with Mastering Physics, and money-saving note is you can get by with the 12th edition for a fraction of the cost. If you're taking me for Physics 1 and Physics 2, then personally I think buying it is a little bit cheaper because it's like 30 bucks for 2 semesters. If you rent it, it's 30 bucks per semester. You do the math. Other required materials is I have a sample abstract. Pretty much any lab that you're going to do, you're going to go take it home and write an abstract. The reason why I have you do that is because as largely engineers, you need practice writing. And the more you do anything, the better you get at it. So these abstracts are to be less than 250 words. The reason I say that is because I don't want to read your life story, but I do want you to address a couple of things. Introduction, what you did during the day, a little bit about how you did it, results, conclusions, as well as sources of error. The lab you're going to do on the first Friday is about determining pi, and I have you measure the area of some things, I have you measure the radius of some things, and I have you plot area is equal to pi r squared. You fit that thing to a quadratic, and the constant of proportionality should be pi. So you can kind of see a little abstract that I wrote up for you. You don't have to write an abstract for the first one, but for the subsequent labs, then I do have you write one up. Other optional materials, Shawm Outlines of College Physics. Google this and you're going to find a PDF of it. Whether it's legit or not, I don't know. And as well as Khan Academy. Khan Academy is a spectacular source out there. I relearned a ton of this stuff from Khan Academy. Let's go back to the home page, and I'll click on the syllabus and talk about that really quickly. So you come to the syllabus tab, and it's going to look like this. But I think a better way to look at the syllabus is using this little tab over here, because this little tab is going to show you when pretty much everything is due. So I think this one's just a little bit better, personally. You can kind of see these are when the various problems are due. And I just kind of have 11:59 on there just to kind of hold the day so you kind of know what to expect for these days. So you can kind of see Chapter 1, Chapter 2, Chapter 3, and so on and so forth. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself. So let's click on the syllabus and walk our way through it. It's going to start off with the standard VCCS description, going blah, blah, blah. What we're going to do for today is we're going to, there we go, is we're going to learn about mechanics and thermodynamics in Physics 1, and we'll cover electricity, magnetism, and light in Physics 2. Main objective for this class is to learn how to solve problems. The reason why you're taking this class is because you're going into a field where you're going to have to be solving problems that no one has ever solved before. Huge emphasis on problem solving. Teaching methods. This class, I do it with a flipped classroom, and what that is the roles of lecture and lab are more or less flipped. Let me explain that. The way I learned physics is the professor went blah, 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 and I went home and I beat my head up against the desk trying to solve the problems. I was in his or her office a lot, and that's where I really learned how to solve physics, or to solve physics problems, was through interactions with the professor. With a flipped classroom, lecture and problem solving are reversed. You watch my lectures on YouTube. I'll show you where the links are in a little bit. And then you come into class, and that's when you're going to be solving the problems. And I'm there to say, hey, I think you made an algebra mistake right here. Or you may say, hey, I'm totally stuck. Where do I go next? And I'll be more than happy to nudge you in the right direction. I pretty much work my way around the classroom again and again and again and again until you've solved all the problems. I will say that your class is a hybrid class, and the reason I did hybrid is because I have done this on Fridays before, and I lost 4 of my 15 weeks to tests, and that wasn't cool. It had to speed everything else up. So the reason I made yours hybrid is more or less I can use the testing center. That did shorten the amount of time that I have with you all. So, and that's not something I had any control over. I'd prefer to see you much longer. So your class time is a little bit shorter than my class that meets on Mondays, Wednesdays. I'm only going to see you for about an hour and a half for lecture each week. I see them for 3 hours. The problem sets are designed to be solved in 3 hours. So please, please, please get ahead on the problem sets, try to solve them before you come in, and make liberal use of my office hours and time outside of class to solve these. So, with all that said, at the end of the day, it's up to you to learn how to solve problems. So, even if I have to help you on every single lecture problem, I'm cool with that. If someone else helps you with these, I'm cool with that. At the end of the day, go home, print out the lecture problems, and give them another go. That's the only way you're going to get better at solving problems. As I said earlier, 216, there's my number. Best way to get in touch with me is to shoot me an email. Here's the textbook. I've already given you a little blurb about that, and I've talked a little bit about labs. Pretty much every week is a lab, and what we're going to be doing is we're going to be, say, doing a lecture or doing some problem solving with projectiles. In the lab, you're going to launch a projectile and get some hands-on experience with that. You don't need to buy a special lab notebook. I'll give you the lab experiments when you come in for that particular day. And I don't let you make up labs in case you miss a day, because more or less they're too hard to do on your own, and you'll definitely be doing these things in groups. We have a couple of flavors of homework. We have easy problems and lecture problems. Easy problems are due at the beginning of the class. That kind of says, hey, Dr. Rogers, I've watched the videos or I read the book, and I've solved the easy problems. And they really are easier problems. They're more or less plug and chug. Find the right equation and chug your way through it. Lecture problems, they're a lot harder. Some, but not many, can solve them on their own. Most people need a nudge on those guys, and that's where you get good at problem solving. I'll gladly help you on easy problems. I'll gladly help you on lecture problems. In fact, I'll even write a 10 out of 10 or a 4 out of 4 on those and let you take it home with you if you let me. I will not accept lecture problems when they're late, because Canvas kind of gives you my solutions. There's 4 tests and 1 quiz through the semester, each covering about 3 or 4 chapters. You can use a note card and a calculator, and you have to kind of, do a pledge that this is me and me only for the test. Your tests are in the testing center, and they'll be open for about a week. If you want to take the tests with me, or just kind of to have me around to ask any clarification questions or anything like that, then you're welcome to do so during my office hours or with the Monday, Wednesday class. Don't miss class. Be nice to my equipment, be nice to each other, and make sure that this is you and you're not cheating or anything like that. Here's kind of the breakdown. Tests are worth about half your grade, and labs, lecture problems, and easy problems are worth about the other half. There's no reason why you can't get a 10 out of 10 on all the labs, all the lectures, or 100% on labs, lectures, and easy problems, because like I said, I will gladly check them before you officially turn them in. Standard A, B, C, D, and I round at the 0.5s. So for example, 89.5 goes up, 89.49 goes down. If you want to take this class with an honors credit, then all you have to do is a special project. Talk to me early, and we'll come up with something that works for you. The class would meet for 6 hours per week in 2 3-hour sessions in a face-to-face. Yours is hybrid, and the rule of thumb is, for all the time you put in class, you should spend at least an hour or 2 outside of class doing the same thing. So expect 6 to 8 hours per week outside of class. Here's how I suggest that you spend your time. Spend about an hour or so watching my lectures and me solving problems, or on the lectures, about an hour on watching my solve problems, or better yet, solve them on your own before you watch my solutions. If you spend more than an hour on easy problems, you better be in my office. And then I suggest, after every lecture problem set, you go home, you print out the lecture problems and give them another go without looking at your solutions. Again, I don't care if I help you, someone else helped you. At the end of the day, you have to be able to look at a problem and be able to solve it. And the only way to do that is to do it. If you have the disability form, you know what it means. Get it to me as soon as possible, and we'll make things work for you. Here's kind of the schedule, and this has a little blur about this being a hybrid class. It's nothing I haven't said already, but please make sure you read that. Here's the first date. It is a Friday, and Chapter 1 is due. Make sure that you have watched Chapter 1 before then. Chapter 1 is actually pretty easy. You should know most of that stuff. Easy problems are due at the beginning of class, and lecture problems are also going to be done in that class. Give them a go ahead of time. And we'll be doing a little bit of a lab activity. The way that I'm going to do the Friday class is I have you all do the labs first, and that way whoever finishes first, then they start in on the lecture problems, and things just flow better. Let's see, the next day is chapter 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. The test one opens on this date, and you have a week to take it, again in the testing center. It is due a week later. I would not advise waiting until September 27th to take the first test, because look at that, woohoo, we're on chapter 6 already. You should have had easy problems done. You should have watched the chapter 6 video, and you should be raring to go on chapter 6. Chapter 6 is not easy. Chapter 7 is not easy. Alright, so with that said, what tests 1, 2, 3, 4? I think this is pretty straightforward. If you have any questions, please let me know. Let's come back to the home page here, and we'll take a look at kind of where to find everything. So let's see, this is the standard blah blah blah. Oh, please do make sure you've read this and read these lab safety rules and be ready to sign this form at the beginning of class on the first Friday. Make sure you do the easy problems. Starting on the lecture problems, finish them if you can. Here's where you can find everything. Chapter 1 is going to have some lecture links, it's going to have some slides, and some solved problems. This is kind of some objectives right over here. And if you click on this guy right here, it's going to save you a PDF, and it's going to be some slides that I'm going to talk to. So here we kind of have these slides. You can go ahead and print these guys out on like a 6-page per thing if you so choose. And the way that you do that is you could mess around with this dialogue a little bit. Yours is going to be slightly different than mine, but for me in particular, I could go ahead and put 6 pages per sheet right here, and that way you're not wasting like 28 pages of paper. So this is going to be the slides that I'm going to talk through on the lecture. Now, where is that? Well, that's going to be this link and this link. I kind of split it into 2 20-minute sections to make it slightly more digestible. So you click on this thing, and it's going to start playing for you. And let me mute my sound so it doesn't blow me out. If you click on this, you can kind of see this is me going blah, blah, blah on chapter 1. And my advice to you is you can kind of see this guy right here. I personally watched YouTube much faster, so I usually speed this thing up with my little guy right here. If you don't have that, then you can go ahead and go to playback speed and watch it like that. That's going to let you cover ground faster, but it is going to let you pause it and take notes. I highly recommend that you take notes just like you would in a regular face-to-face lecture. People that take notes tend to do the best, in my particular opinion. I also have some work problems, and this is just like watching me solve a problem on the board, only you can go ahead and go back and watch it again and again and again, and you can also swing on in and say, you know, you did this step right here, I have no idea what you did, what did you do? So here we have some problems that you're going to see me solve, and you can actually find these guys right here. If you click on this link, it's going to be me solving these problems. So YouTube, there we go. So this is me going blah, 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 solving the problems. So with that said, let me close this, and hop back right here. Now here I have easy problems and lecture problems. So if you click on this guy, you're going to see a due date, and you're going to see a PDF. You can click on this, and this is going to be the easy problems that you should do before class. Each one is worth 1 point. And go ahead and solve these guys. You don't have to do it on this piece of paper if you don't want to, but it kind of helps me if you do. If we were to mess around, we can actually access this in a couple different places. You can access this in assignments, and you can see easy problems, lecture problems, and PyLab. The PyLab is empty for right now, but you could also access the lecture problems using that link or this link right here. And here we see the lecture problems, and here we have my solutions. This better not pop up until after its due date. Excellent. So it's locked until the due date. Again, I won't accept it after the due date. So if I were to go ahead and click on this guy, you kind of get the idea. These are the lecture problems, and give them a shot ahead of time, please. So click on, there we go, download these. And here we have some lecture problems. These are a little bit harder than the easy problems. That's everything I wanted to say on that. Let me go back to the Home tab and see if there's anything that I missed. Oh yes, right here we have sample tests and solutions. For every test that you take, I have a sample test as well as solutions for it. So if you click on this guy right here, here's going to be a practice test and here's going to be my solutions. My advice to you on how to use these guys is go ahead and print out the practice test. Give yourself 3 hours. That's how long you're going to have at the testing center, and give it a go. Once you're done, go ahead and click on my solutions. See they're downloaded right here. And here we have my solutions to it. If I have a problem on the sample test, there's a really good chance you're going to see a very similar problem on the real test. Here we have a dot product and a cross product. There's a really good chance that there's a dot product and cross product problem on the real test. Here we have a problem with a car that is accelerating, or in this case, decelerating, if you will, negatively accelerating. There's a really good chance you're going to see a problem with a car that is accelerating or decelerating or something similar. I may not ask you for to solve for distance as I did here. Maybe I'll ask for time, or maybe I'll ask for initial speed. But there's a really good chance that you're going to see a very similar problem. Here we have a package that is being dropped. You kind of get the idea. I had you figure out the height. I could have asked for the speed or something like that. Here we have a projectile. Here we have some Newton's second law problems. So that's my advice on how to use the sample tests and solutions. The last place you might want to look at is grades, and more or less your grades are going to be posted right here. I think it's pretty straightforward. Again, thank you for taking the time to watch this, and I'll see you guys on Friday.